This one is a message to all spiritual teachers. So, in such an occupation, try to keep things light. Try not to bog people down with concepts and all the definitions that we give to certain ways to describe the truth to people. As the seeking mind and the mind of someone who still believes himself to be a spiritual seeker is prone to wanting to dissect all of these concepts and to understand them, and that really isn't the point. I would advise you to keep it as light as possible and to try to meet people where they're at. Don't speak to them as an ego that you somehow have to help heal or fix or any of these things. I'm sure you know this, but just speak to them as the being that they are, which is pretending to be someone who doesn't know themselves. I feel like that's a good way to put it. To approach a teaching such as this, it feels rather silly. Everyone is so invested in their identity. And they're right to do so. But they continue to seek salvation in another identity, such as being a spiritual person, or all these kind of layers of belief and concepts that you can add to yourself. And these concepts aren't harmful. They're a lot less harmful than a concept of someone who just wants to use and abuse themselves, right? But in both cases, it's still a dream. It's still a character you believe yourself to be. And you don't know yourself. It isn't so important to be critical of certain behaviors that people in the world enact, but more so to facilitate a space where they can realize themselves. And the knowing of themselves will dissolve all those behaviors in time. It's a matter of time. But as soon as they even have a glimpse, it's not going to continue forever. But giving a doctrine of saying, oh, don't do this and don't do that and behave a certain way and you must meditate for 10 minutes a day or whatever that is, that's not going to help them ultimately know themselves and live in happiness. It's just going to give them a new game to play. And the language you use is important. The words you use, the spelling, words are spells. It's a way to think about it. So never project the assumption that who you're speaking to somehow doesn't understand, or that they need to do something to understand. As that just kind of fortifies their ego of thinking that they're a seeker, that they have to do something. The more you speak to the being that they are and not the identity which they believe themselves to be, the more they will know themselves. Not through a concept necessarily, but through resonance. Through them recognizing themselves in you. And I want to say there's absolutely nothing wrong with teaching certain concepts or sharing the understanding of the concepts and what they represent. But I would suggest that it's important to share these concepts with presence and with your own being fully there, and playfully, not to suggest that they need to learn these concepts to be okay for some reason. Because that just keeps them as a identity of someone who needs to do something and someone who needs to teach and all these things like that. When I speak my words to you, I don't do so from a place of thinking that I'm doing something and that I need to relay this information to you because I'm teaching you or something like that. I'm just sharing my understanding from knowing myself and being myself in hopes that you can know yourself and be yourself. Truthfully, you already are yourself. So for me to say that you have to be yourself is a little silly. But I say so because in my own experience, after knowing myself, I would still act foolishly and not act in accordance with myself for some reason, for some concepts that I was still holding on to. So that's why I say it's also important to be yourself and not be an identity which still needs to do things to be okay. And this sort of dissolvement takes time, but it doesn't have to either. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this helps you to share what you want to share, however you do share it. And I love you.